Hey everybody, this is Joe.
And this is Sam.
We are Subterranean Annihilation.
And we are unearthing underground filth.
Hey everybody, welcome to Subterranean Annihilation. We're super excited for tonight's interview. We got Steve Harris, Justin Shaw, and Steve Redmond from the Day of the Beast. Hey guys, welcome to the show.
All right, how you doing?
Everybody?
Thanks for having us.
No prob.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I'm stoked. So let's start at the beginning. When and how did the Day of the Beast form?
With a bunch of people who actually aren't in the band anymore. and I was like a 20-year-old kid, and I went to Skinny's Records in Ghent, back in their old location, back when they were below that bagel shop back in the day. And I ran into the old bass player of the Day of the Beast. Well, he lasted like a couple practices, so he was never really like a canonical member of Day of the Beast. But I ran into him, and I was kind of like talking to the owner for a little while. And I think I was buying the Motorhead album Kiss of Death that just came out, and he started having a conversation with me, and I kind of just explained that I was going to school across the street there at ODU, and I was just I thought I'm in thrash and death metal and that kind of thing, and he told me he had a band that sounded like Demolition Hammer. He was lying about that part, by the way, but it still worked out. He's like, yeah, we got this band called Demolition, it sounds like Demolition Hammer, and we're practicing down at Uncle Bob's storage, and we're looking for a vocalist. So I kind of half jokingly told him I'd come try out as a vocalist, and then I guess he told KC, one of our original guitarists, about it, and he started blowing me up on MySpace about it. And I finally came out and did a couple practices, and then Justin showed up a couple weeks later because we kicked that one dude out of the band, and that was basically the first incarnation, the actual first incarnation who made it to the first live show.
Right on.
Sweet.
Yeah, when I showed up, they had been hitting me up on, I guess was it MySpace or was it Facebook? I don't even remember. I think it was MySpace. Yeah.
Probably MySpace.
And then, they said their bass player couldn't do anything but single note picks, so they needed somebody else, and I had just left Arson, so I was like, all right, I'll come check it out. And then I ran in. Steve, were you at the first time we're there? I think you just gotten back from
Yeah, I was.
Right?
Was that the night where I did the bottle trick and broke the end of the bottle?
Yeah, and I said, because you said, he's like, watch this, and you opened the bottle with your teeth, handed it to me, and I said, you better check your mouth because the rim of my bottle was broken off. And then all of a sudden you start spitting out blood.
I was just little 20-year-old kid trying to impress all the older kids.
You did a bottle trick, and I was like, that sounds kind of weird. I don't know if I want to hear this story.
He put the bottle in his mouth and just smashed it onto his teeth.
I was trying to open, it was one of those non-twist-off caps, and one of my older friends taught me how to open those with your teeth back in the day, and I didn't really remember how he did it, so I kind of was just winging it, and it went about as well as you would expect that to happen, but made for a good first impression.
Yeah, that would impress me. The name Day of the Beast.
Here we are today. Fuck it.
The name.
All my tubers are still in my face.
Was it based on the Spanish movie El Dia de la Bestia? I probably fucked that up.
That was where they stole the band name from. And in fact, they actually already, before I even joined the band, they already had T-shirts from that movie that we were kind of talking about. All right, well, we already have this built-in bootleg merchandise already made for us. The logo's already cool, so let's just run with it.
There's another Day of the Beast, a black metal band from Europe. Who was first?
We were first. We're the Day of the Beast. They're just Day of the Beast.
They're pretty new, aren't they? Didn't we discover they existed last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been around for very long. I wish them all the best. Never listened to them.
All right, so let's talk influences. What are each of your favorite bands for inspiration?
That's such a hard question, man.
If you were to condense
I feel
it,
like
narrow
each
it down.
of us have our own favorite bands that we bring to the mix, and that's why it's kind of sets it apart, because everybody has a different favorite genre that they came from. Mine would have to be just the late 80s, early 90s thrash. That's my favorite.
I actually have to agree with that because I'm not trying to sound boring, but that's like what I basically studied when I joined the Day of the Beast. I mean, I feel like I listened to a lot of stuff I never really gotten into that much before. And then, yeah, still kind of listen to that for inspiration and ideas.
Right
I just
on.
wanted to sound like a drunk black metal Paul Bailoff.
Doing a good job.
I mean, I feel like I still try to keep it kind of death metal because I did when I joined. I wanted to still kind of bring a little bit of death metal flavor in there, but I still try to make it Day of the Beast. Yeah.
Yeah, Redmond definitely added the technicality to the band that it has now.
I could hear that.
Yeah. Because I saw Saega when I was like 15 down at the oceanfront. And that was before you joined Day of the Beast. Because I remember we played with Day of the Beast or something at Phil's. I remember you, like, it was always Saega and Macerated. And then Day of the Beast came in there at some point, either at Phil's or the Box. And, yeah, man, dude. Steve Redmond, I always was like, holy shit, this guy's insane at guitar. So when I saw you join the Day of the Beast, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna have some riffs now. Like, not that you didn't have riffs before, but I just knew that you were gonna bring a different aspect to it. So,
yep,
hell yeah.
And now that Bobby's in the band, Bobby like pumps out cool ass songs like every 2 days. He has like a new song. He's like, check this out. I'm like, cool.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this
So
is definitely
I'm convinced to sleep ever.
the tightest lineup we've ever had with Bobby and Redmond as on guitar. The new stuff is like taking the first album and taking it to a whole new level with the third album kind of added in influence wise.
Yeah, I was listening.
Yeah, doesn't Bobby have like,
actually.
I was listening to it
doesn't
earlier.
Bobby have like 4 kids or something?
He has
What?
like 2 kids.
Doesn't Bobby have like 4 kids or something?
2 or
Like
3?
kids?
I don't know.
Well, so yeah, he probably doesn't sleep a whole lot, so he's probably just up all night writing songs.
Well, he
Maybe that's the secret.
3 a.m.
Maybe that's the secret to productivity is
Like
just
Rick.
having so many kids you never sleep, and you can just stay up and write music.
I wake up.
I don't know, I've
next
done
to
some-
Bobby with him just like playing riffs. Like,
I've done some
3
pretty
a.m.
weird shit when I was sleep deprived. So you could come up with some weird stuff. But that's awesome. Everybody kind of like contributes and is a driving force to the creativity. So pretend I don't know any genres. Can you describe the sound of the Day of the Beast to someone that's never heard it?
This is definitely a guitar player question.
I mean, death metal and thrash, like death thrash. That's what I always called it. I mean, I feel like their first album, even the first album, has like its death metal sound in there too. I mean,
But you said the person can't even know anything about genres whatsoever.
Yeah, like just pretend I'm somebody from work that just calls it all screamo.
you know what I normally say? I say it's kind of like Lamb of God, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
I always say think of early Metallica and speed it up and then give it harsher vocals.
Okay,
And then
there you go. Yeah.
But they don't really understand.
Right.
I mean, I just lie to everybody too. Whenever I'm trying to explain it to normies, I'm just like, it's just Slayer with more like growling and screaming.
Yeah.
And they pretend they know what I'm talking about. So then I just say, yeah, we're kind of like Black Sabbath. But bastard.
I like how it's. I like how
They still don't really know what I'm talking about.
it's across the board with
Thanks
people
for,
that
like,
are into
changing
heavier
subjects.
music. Is always talking to the normies, as you said. It's like they're always like, "What are you into?" And I'm like, "I'm into heavier stuff." They're like 5 Finger Death Punch. I'm like, "Yeah, like 5 Finger Death Punch."
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Just like it. You been to the
I just
Lunatic
call it all
Yeah.
screamo.
Yeah, they always say Screamo or 5 Finger Death Punch.
goth stuff, right? That's like that a lot too.
Yeah, the goths, the Hot Topic goth shit.
It's like Linkin Park.
Yeah, it's very similar.
All right, so the first album came out like over 12 years ago. It still holds up. What was the lineup and the writing process back then?
It was me and Justin, and then we had Eric and Casey on guitars. We had Aaron Jacka, who you might be familiar with.
I might.
You smiley little bastard. And yeah, that was the lineup for that album. We recorded with Corey Smoot in Richmond, and I probably drank during a lot of it. I remember I was like sick as fuck during that, and I never get sick either, so that was kind of so I was just like fucking waterboarding myself with like fucking honey
tea.
herbal tea shit.
Yeah.
The only thing I really remember about that recording session was eating at Shoney's every morning
Hang on a second.
and playing with his dog.
Yeah.
But I guess after all the Shoney's and the dog playing with, we crapped out an okay album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
As far as like the actual recording process, though, that was such a long time ago. I don't remember a whole lot about it. But
I'm pretty sure
we got it done.
Casey and Eric wrote all the songs back then. Because everything was almost written by the time that I joined, except for like 3 songs. So, and then those 3 songs we kind of collaborated at practice, but before that, most of it was already written by either one of those two.
Like Beyond Corn's on, I remember doing the vocals for the first time ever there in the studio. So that one must have been like super, super new.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the
My
last
favorite
one that was written. That was the very last one written. And then, as soon as we recorded, then Aaron left the band because he couldn't, because of work or family.
I think
And,
he had a wife who was wrestling his jimmies at the time.
Yeah. She didn't like our lyrical content. She saw us live, and that was the...
They're divorced now, so we can talk shit about it. It's okay.
Yeah. And then, so then as he left, and then Jeremy joined, and he learned the entire album. So he played the CD release shows. So Aaron never even got to play the CD release shows after recording. It was just like he recorded, and that was it.
Mm.
And then KC left out of nowhere after a short tour. Right before another show, he just quit, never came back. And then, so we played as a 4-piece, I guess, for a while. And then we got Mike. Yeah, I'll call him Mike.
You mean you don't want to call him Gooch?
He has a nickname. I don't even know in this day and age if that's still okay. I don't even know.
I haven't heard from the dude since CP's wedding, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him at the wedding. Like, is it still okay if I call you Gooch?
Yeah.
At this point, I think Mike's the same.
But yeah,
So-
and then he was for the second album on guitar, and he recorded with us.
Going back to the lyrics on the first album, they seem to have like an apocalyptic, almost biblical tone. Steve Harris, what did you draw on for inspiration, and is it a concept album?
Not really a concept album, but H.P. Lovecraft was the big running theme through it. Casey wrote about half the lyrics on that album. I wrote the exact on there. I was still cutting my teeth on lyricism and all that. But
On
yeah,
beer
we
bottles?
shared it. What was that?
On beer
Cutting your
bottles.
teeth on beer bottles?
Literally cutting my teeth. Yes. And yeah, we shared a similar passion for H.P. Lovecraft, old school horror movies. Especially like Nosferatu. I have a Nosferatu song, and I think every album. I'm into a lot of Clive Barker, a lot of his books, especially the Books of Blood series.
Hell yeah.
I brought a lot of that kind of stuff out to Pestuary also. And, just a lot of lyrics about just the complete annihilation and just, like, disdain towards the human race.
Sweet.
That's good shit.
It's content that just never ends. Like, humans never cease to stop providing you lyrical content.
Right.
True.
Steve Redman, your other band, Saega, was signed to the same label as the Day of the Beast. What was it? Canonical Hours?
Yeah.
Are they still around? And how was it working with them?
Assuming that question's for Steve Harris. I heard Steve and I started talking.
No, that was for you.
Oh, it's for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't know. I haven't seen him in probably 4 years or so, or maybe even since I helped him move. I think who else was there for that? Was that you, Justin?
Yeah.
We had to
Fun
carry
time.
these big ass like containers of records, and it was like the worst thing ever.
Every time I hang out with Alan, every single time I hang out with Alan, he always fucking Tom Sawyers me into like helping him either like completely rearrange his record collection or like shipping like absurd amounts of boxes out to all these different people, or like he's a bastard like that, but we love him. He was very instrumental in putting out our first couple albums and really kind of like pushing us to that first big like next level. And yeah, we definitely. I haven't heard from Alan in a while. I've talked to him a few months ago. He's doing well. He's in Richmond right now. But yeah, we owe a lot to Alan. A lot to Alan, definitely.
Yeah, he helped Saega out a lot too. I mean, he had a lot of connections.
That's awesome. So, is he not really doing a label anymore, but he's still selling records, like a distro type shit?
Yeah, I think he's more of a distro now.
I think he's just hoarding everything now. I don't think he's selling everything. It's a rough time for the market. That kind of stuff.
For sure.
It is. I feel like people love buying vinyl though.
I still buy it. I don't know why. It gets heavier and heavier every time I move.
It's cool to have it. It's like a giant picture book, and then you got the music to go along with it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're basically forced to sit there and like listen. Like, it's not as easy to change songs, you know.
And then stand up and then flip the record.
Yeah.
Exactly. Put record players in cars.
Right.
Especially if you're listening to something like
Total laziness was that entire statement.
Like every time you go over a bump, it would totally ruin it.
Change songs.
especially if you're listening to something like Raining Blood and you just like 12 you put the record on, you're like, all right, this is gonna be a cool night. And then like 12 minutes later you gotta get up and fucking flip the record.
Well, Justin, I can ask you this next question. After the debut album, I guess it was like 4 years and 2 demos later, your second album, Relentless Demonic Intrusion, came out. How would you say that the band progressed in that time period?
Well, with that one, there was more of a complete everybody in on the writing. Jeremy had ideas, I had ideas, both guitarists brought songs. Steve did all the vocals on that one, so where the first album was him and KC. It was just... And then we learned a little bit more going to a different studio with the recording process, but it still hadn't hit until the third album when I felt like, when we got Redman in for the third album, that's when I felt like Day of the Beast was actually starting to rise and peak, because the Mike or / Gooch, as was referenced before, was good, but he didn't actually really like the style of music most of us all listen to. So he would bring a bunch of riffs, and we would have to kind of modify and alter them to actually fit more of what we were going for.
Right.
Where everybody else that has come in knew what we were going for, and it was a much easier writing process. And then also the 4-year gap was because having to replace a guitarist to learn the first album and then start writing, it did hold us back a little bit. So.
But you were still playing shows and
Oh, yeah.
I assume touring in that
playing
time
shows.
too.
And that's another thing. When you're trying to write and record and playing shows, it kind of shows can get in the way, but that's the fun part. So
Yeah.
you want to do them.
You mentioned that you recorded at a different studio. Where did you record the second album, Relentless Demonic Intrusion, at?
That was with Vince from. He used to be in Beaten Back to Pure. What's the name of his studio? You remember, Steve?
Sniper Studios.
Sniper Studios. Yes, that's in North Carolina. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Moyock, North Carolina. Yeah. So. That was a much better recording experience than the first time. But it was still, to this day, we haven't gotten an album that, once it's been done, and listened to it a bunch, we were 100% happy with what happened. Something, either with the mixing or mastering, something always kind of gets thrown off.
Right.
Hopefully the fourth one is going to be a totally different experience.
I can guarantee that thing.
Yep.
I mean, if the EP is any indication.
Dude, the EP sounds amazing.
Well, sometimes
We
when
did
I
that all
listen to sometimes when I listen to the EP on Spotify, it'll like automatically go into like a song from the second album or the first album, and the quality dip is like so sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gonna
There's some
happen.
great songs on those albums, but I hopefully one of these days we can re-record some of those songs and
Right.
kind of like give them the power they probably should have had the whole time. But I mean, there's also a market for those necro recordings, so if people like them, then
Oh, yeah. I like those.
Yeah, me too.
So right after that, Steve Redmond joined the band. You guys were already friends, so I guess what after he joined, what was like the normal writing process?
Steve writes everything.
Steve
After
writes
he
everything?
joined, he started writing everything, and the other guitarist we had at the time, couldn't play any of it, so he decided not to learn it.
Oh,
Actually, at one time he just kind of stopped playing on stage.
Oh,
No, he refused to play a song.
yikes!
But I don't want to get into that. But
we don't have to bring that up. So do you come up with stuff at practice, or do you write it at home and then show everybody?
I usually write songs here in my house. You know,
Yeah.
my recording software. I mean, I'll just like set a metronome and just start like playing until I start liking riffs that I'm coming up with, and
Right.
you know, eventually I'll come up with a song, just the metronome, and then I'll program drums and bring it to practice.
Nice.
That's a very useful skill. I wish I could do that.
It's they have free like DAWs, like digital audio workstations that you can get, like Audacity.
Mm-hmm.
If all you're trying to do
Yeah.
is just get ideas, and you can download free drum libraries and stuff, program some crappy drums. I mean, all it is just to get the idea across. I mean, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Eric helped a little bit. He wrote a few riffs on that album, but he didn't. Did he write any songs on that album?
No.
Well, no, because Zach came in. We had a bunch of stuff happen in between
Yeah.
the writing process of that album, because we also had Zach Garvin come in and he wrote like 2 songs on that album.
Yeah, the Ultimate Cremation Pyre is probably my favorite so far. What drove the band to shift the sound slightly? Like, you can tell it gets a little more evil, like, sounding.
I mean, nothing really. It's just different lineup and better songwriting, better musicianship. You know, we fucking one of the things that I hate about the second album is I'm not dumping on the second album, but the way we played the songs on the second album are like when we play them live, they're like hyper fast.
Yeah,
and they weren't as fast on the album as they are live, and that always bothered the fuck out of me. And for the third album, we, instead of like guessing the tempos and kind of mapping them out that way, we played the song like in this all the songs in the studio live, and like as fast as humanly possible without it getting too sloppy or whatever. And then we mapped out the tempos from those just live one mic recordings. And I think that made like a big fucking difference because we were able to play those songs on the album as fast as they are live, and I think it made a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because the first two albums, the people recording us would try to they had us slow down at least 3 songs on each album to the point where we would never play them that slow, but they felt like that was the tempo that they wanted us to record us at, and that was the one thing I give to Tommy Gunn was he had us play everything, he recorded us playing it, and then we mapped it out like that, so it's exactly how we play it.
Yeah, fuck
Tommy's
that.
pre-production stuff is going to be...
I was gonna say, fuck that shit, like making you slow down to record it.
Tommy's pre-production stuff is awesome because he pays attention to those kind of details.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely was good at like paying attention to our performance too. I felt like, I mean,
yeah,
if we were ready to let something slide, he'd be like, "No, just like do that again." No.
Yeah, I've recorded with him before, and he like I like how he maps out all the tempos and then writes the song like on a chalkboard and like all the parts of the song and like all the tempo changes and all the different parts and stuff, and he makes sure that he pays attention to each part. I guess that's what makes him so good at it.
That was a good idea.
So like back to the lineup change. How did Zach get hired, and then why did he leave?
Zach was one of the just few musicians in the area that could, had the chops and the drive, and he did a damn good job. He wrote some great songs for us, and he kind of took us, and in the couple songs he wrote, he kind of did a little bit kind of different stuff that we weren't used to doing. I think he did a fantastic job.
His songs are like 2 of the catchiest songs on that album.
He's a really sick songwriter, and his solo is fucking kick ass too.
I mean, he just left because I think he had a lot going on with school and everything at work. I mean, he approached us and was just like, I just feel like you guys should probably maybe start looking for somebody else just because I don't really have time anymore. It was like a mutual.
Yeah, he had to miss a lot of practices due to work and school, and we were writing, and he wasn't able to come to learn anything, so he knew it was time, and now he's writing stuff in Nighthawk, and that's truly his style right there.
Oh yeah,
so that he's a showman. He likes. He's happier on the stage knowing he looks good rather than he sounds good.
Oh, wasn't there like
He told me that. He's like, as long as I look good, that's all I care about.
He dropped a condom on.
I will say that like his legend, the final show he played with us, he pulled like a fucking like legendary rib that like I'm always gonna like remember Zach for like just this one thing. But like we were talking about like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and you the episode where the Magnum condom for his Monster Wang or whatever it was, or the Monster condom for his Magnum dong. That was it. And I said, like, I was just like, dude, I triple dog dare you to fucking just drop like a huge condom in the middle of playing a solo. And like, I'm actually like, Zach will probably tell you, I used to be kind of a dick about him like clowning around a little too much. And like that was the one time I totally let it slide because it was so fucking funny. Like he's playing a solo, and I think I'm the only one who even saw it. But he like let this like huge condom like fly like right in the front, like the front row. And then he's like, and he does the whole like looking around. He takes it back up and puts it. This is all shit was fucking priceless. I miss Zach a lot. I miss Zach a lot.
I remember one time you were like, "Don't stop wearing winger shirts. We're the trash band."
I was kind of a dick to him. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of like I could have bullied him a little bit. He was like we're cool about everything.
Yeah, it's all love.
But he knew what he was doing, and he wrote a hell of a fucking death metal song, and he wrote a hell of a fucking solo, and he was a great on stage performer. He had great theatrics. He had great stage presence. He had like that big fucking that big curly head of hair.
Oh yeah,
this hair
Yeah, definitely did a lot for our stage presence.
Is that a perm? Or
We could all get terms before the next show.
Yeah. So who did the art for Ultimate Cremation Pyre? Because that's a really fucking sick painting or artwork.
That was a gentleman in China by the name of I apologize if I butchered his name, Guang Yang. I don't even know if that's his real name. He's at Confessional Studio. He's just superb. He's unreal. And the crazy thing about his paintings are, I wanted like him to send me like the physical copy of the painting, but he couldn't do it because he paints at this warehouse. So that painting was painted on like a big slab of like warehouse wall.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like and like a lot of this, he does a lot of digital art, a lot of more traditional like on canvas stuff, but he does a lot also like painting on like huge slabs of wall.
Cool.
I mean, whatever makes for a better painting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's honestly like one of the sickest fucking album covers that I've ever seen. It's like a epic battle. I know we probably can't show it on the YouTube link, or if we could flash it real quick, if maybe we could edit it in there. But it's like really
I
fucking
got you.
awesome.
Hold up.
Let me see what I got real quick.
It's
I
like
got
an
it.
epic battle.
Yeah, like I guess it took me a while to actually like sit there and look at it. And, yeah, it's like amazing.
It's a lot going on.
Is that the same guy who did Justin? You don't know if it's the same guy that did the one or new one, is it? Is it the same guy? I think it is the same guy.
Yeah, I think that the new album is going to have the same guy doing the artwork.
Yes, stick with him. Oh, I think Steve's got it.
You can't really tell. If we ever re-release this album, we need to do it on a digipack so you can see like all the detail and all the stuff. Because when the cellophane's over, it kind of like diminishes a lot of how good that fucking painting actually is.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want about our music, but we always have great cover art.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's true. What's the deal with the lost or stolen shirts?
Oh jeez.
Oh man, well I can tell a lot of stories about that.
Well, let's hear
Well,
one.
I brought a lot of it on myself because I used to just get blackout drunk and pass out in random places and leave like half of my possessions at wherever it was I passed out at. So it's kind of like an RPG. You know how like you play some of these old RPGs and you die and you wake up and like the king revives you, but you lose half your gold and half your inventory. That's kind of like what my like mid to late 20s were like. So I would just pass out somewhere and just like, you know, on the porcelain floor somewhere, or just by a toilet and then wake up and half my shirts would be missing. And then like a month later, I'd run into all my friends. They'd all be wearing my shirts that I lost that particular day. Fucking pieces of shit. I see you.
Oh man.
I see you, Dan Cooley.
You gave me that bag of shirts, man. Maybe you were drunk. I don't know.
I gave you a bag of shirts, but I don't think that same shirt was in that bag.
Pretty sure. I don't remember.
That's like Lewis.
Shirt.
Lewis gave me a bunch of shirts, and then when he saw me wearing them, he's like, "Hey, motherfucker, that's my shirt." I'm like, "You gave it to me, dude. Like, you don't remember giving it to me?"
I believe that story 100%. Hey, Louie. Love you.
We're gonna interview MSD next. So
Yeah.
maybe he'll listen to this. Probably not.
Can you just interview Louie? Want anybody else on the show except for Louie? And I just give him an open mic for 2 hours, and you're just gonna.
Honestly, I've had phone calls with him last 2 hours, so that probably wouldn't be hard.
Should have just recorded those.
Or like I could probably do an entire episode. I could probably do like 18 straight hours of Louie stories.
Hold on, guys.
We'll just have you and Louie, and I'll just record that. And that'll be our, it'll be like a segment. Steve and Louie.
I would listen to that.
I got a couple more. What do each of you do for hobbies lately?
Lizards, fish, turtles, crayfish, crustaceans, snakes.
So you kind of run a zoo?
Yeah. I'm kind of
like a reptile
like a
expo?
Steve Irwin, but like not as cool. not as Australian.
How's that going?
It's given like a whole new lease on my life. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Because like I'm getting to the age where I'm starting to get these like dad urges.
Yeah.
And like I'm just very against procreation of human beings, so like I funnel all that energy into reptiles and fish, and it scratches the itch, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
What are like the most rewarding creatures that you own?
Well, I got the blue tongue skink. That's probably like my crown jewel. That's just like my one just like big showpiece lizard that I can like hold in my hands and be like just a huge lizard, and he'll flick his big old blue tongue out. I can feed him dog food. It fucking rules.
Hell yeah. Do they like...
Can I say fuck on this podcast?
No, this is for children.
This is for
Sorry. Ixnay on the fucking thing.
What kind of fish do you have?
I have a red-bellied piranha.
Oh,
I've
shit.
got like an assortment, just I have an assortment of just your textbook tetras and live bearers and guppies and that kind of thing. Nothing too fancy except for the piranha, but he's a lot of fun. Well, not really. He's a fucking pussy, and he just hides behind a fucking log all day long. Ambush, whatever.
If you stuck your hand in the tank, would he fuck it up?
No, he would only fuck my hand up if I was like actively trying to grab at him. But like I clean out his gravel and shit like that with my hand in the tank all the time, and he just swims to the other side of the tank. He's bitch.
So it's not like the movie when they put their foot in the water and they come back and it's all bone.
Well, that might be different because the people in the movies are like obliviously like, you know, trying to step on them or almost stepping on them. So that might be a little different. But like, he kind of knows what's up.
Hell yeah! It would suck to get fucking eaten by piranhas. God damn.
Yes.
It would be. That'd be a slow death.
That's got to be the worst way to die, to get eaten by piranhas.
No. Fucking Exodus wrote an entire fucking song about it.
Of course.
Which we should cover, by the way. Now that it has a little bit more personal meaning to certain band members.
I like your idea. I like the idea of striking the beast, man.
Well, I've been trying to say that for years, but no.
I like that idea.
No strike of the beast. My name is Zach Garvin. No strike of the beast. Everybody else wants to cover this song except for Zach Garvin. I just spent this entire podcast saying nice things about Zach Garvin, and now I gotta be a dick. I gotta get that one thing in.
You got to have the balance there. Well,
Can't get too cocky, Zach. Can't get too cocky.
well, let's move to Justin. Justin, what do you do for fun or hobbies lately?
Just work out and train people, including you.
Yeah, I know that. I knew the answer to that. I just wanted you to say it.
And now home renovations too. That's my other hobby.
Nice.
Sounds fun.
He's shaking his head. Steve Redmond, what do you do in your spare time when you're not writing awesome riffs for the Day of the Beast?
To be completely honest with you, like all of my spare time has been me like writing music lately.
Me too.
Honestly, I think it's awesome. Like right now, this pandemic has like caused me to be like super productive.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's
awesome.
like I have no complaints. And then Robin and I we watch a lot of horror movies and fucking hang out with the cats and
Hell yeah.
occasionally go out to a bar and socially distance and drink some beer.
Your life sounds a lot like mine.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to be honest, I have no complaints like having more time to write music.
Yeah, I know. I still work, but all the other time I'm just recording or writing or hanging out with the cats, like you said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
I'm about that cat life now.
Yeah. Just wait till it gets big and chunky.
Yeah, I can't wait. He's already getting pretty long. He was stretching out earlier and almost took up the whole chair.
Mm-hmm. He reminds me of my cat Gilbert. He's gonna be jumping on everything. I could already tell.
Oh yeah, he's crazy, man. So y'all just put out another EP, Enter the Witch House. Was the name of that inspired by the Lovecraft story Dreams in the Witch House?
Yes.
Nice.
That was the original title, but I kind of Enter had that 2-syllable thing that I needed for the chorus, so I changed it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I love it, dude. I love the lyrics to that song. That song has like the coolest fucking lyrics, man.
Thanks,
yeah.
man. I love
Vocal
riffs. That song has the coolest fucking riffs.
So I'm assuming you've seen the Stuart Gordon adaptation that was on Masters of Horror.
No, I'm an adult.
I've seen
What?
it, actually, and I can't remember what. I've seen that whole series, but I'm trying to remember that episode.
It's like the second. I think it's the second episode on the first season.
I've definitely seen it. I just can't remember right now.
Stuart Gordon, the guy who made Reanimator and a bunch of fucking badass Lovecraft movies. The second episode is probably my favorite one, and they the little rat with the human face and shit, and then
Oh, I remember that.
yeah,
And the guy was like renting a house from somebody. And
yeah,
he was like renting a room or something.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a poser for not reading that story. Never actually read that story.
I mean, I've watched more movies based on Lovecraft than I have read.
I've
his
read a
story.
good amount of Lovecraft stuff. But yeah, it was a good show. I wonder whatever happened. Like, I wish they would have kept that show going.
I know.
Because like each episode was almost like a short movie, and they were all different, done by like famous horror directors.
That's what I think. Maybe they just ran out of cool directors to ask.
That's probably what it was. And the ones who they're like, dude, I'm not gonna do another episode. Like, you've already had me do like fucking 3. But,
All right, guys. So, when can we expect the new album, and what should we know about it?
well, at this point, we're kind of. I don't want to go into too much detail because I guess I'm not really allowed to. But we have some pretty cool stuff coming up, and we have about 180 days to finish the album. So,
All right.
sometime in early 2021, you can probably expect that album.
Fuck yeah.
And I mean,
Sands of time are ticking.
we kind of have a deadline now, so. I kind of like the deadline, man. It kind of kicks you in the ass and makes you fucking, like, push through it, you know?
And Steve, you are recording and mixing and mastering everything yourself, right?
No. Not for this one. We'll probably have somebody mix and master it. But I did the EP. We recorded the EP, and I had mixed it and mastered it. But we'll probably have, we'll definitely have some like professionals do the album.
Dude, the EP sounds good as hell.
Dude, thanks, man. I still go back and I hear things that I hate about it. That I wish I could go back and like just record things that I did that I wish I could have done better.
I understand that. I'm just getting into mixing and mastering, like trying to really, really get into it. And every time I listen to something that I've done, I'm like, man, I could have done that. But I mean, that's the way it is.
You can ask them. I was like obsessed with it. I was like to the point where I would send a good mix, and then later that day, I would think I listened to it so much that I started doing dumb things and making it sound shittier, but in my ears, I'm like, oh, this sounds better. I'm going to send it to everyone. And I'd go back and listen to it like, wow, that one sucks compared to the one I sent earlier.
Yeah, man, I do the same thing. You just got to like...
part of the learning. I mean, I'm learning. I'm still learning this shit. I mean...
Me too.
It's, I feel like it just takes years of experience to become, like, the people that we hear that do such a good job, I mean, they've been doing it for so long.
Yeah. And I mean, you really just
Andy
gotta...
Steve or someone like that, it's like they've been doing it for 30 years or something, you know? So.
Yeah. You just gotta watch a shit ton of YouTube videos and get different perspectives on it.
That helps, too, but then you end up... What I had a problem with where you end up, like, instead of listening to what you're doing, you end up trying different things just because someone said to try it.
Right. You gotta find a balance.
A certain frequency on a guitar, and you're like, well, I'll just take this frequency out of this guitar, but you don't know, your guitar is probably not the same tuning as that guitar, and, you know, it's like...
Oh, I stopped taking frequencies out. And unless it's like a snare drum to where it's like that stupid tinny sound at the end.
It's easy to find, like, snare frequencies to pull out. But.
Yeah, I leave everything else alone. But I mean, like, most of the shit that I've been recording is pretty noisy and, you know, wall of sound-esque anyway. So I really haven't done anything that's, like, trying to be precise. But, yeah, what I found is, like, because at first I was trying all that YouTube stuff where it's like, oh, I got to do precise stuff with the compressors and the EQs. And now I'm just like, I'm just going to do it by ear. And how I like it is how I like it. And I have to take breaks, like you said, like you'll hear it too much and then you'll fuck it up. So you got to take breaks.
It's really easy to overuse compression too. Like I've actually found that I'll end up putting compression on the overhead, like drum overheads.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, just because someone told me that, like I've always heard people say, like, oh, you should put compression on the drum overheads. And then like later on, I'm like, this sounds like shit. Like, I'm going to just remove this compressor. And then all of a sudden it sounds way better. And I'm like, I'm going to do things to my ear that I think sound good.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to some dickhead on YouTube.
True. That's ultimately, it's good. You got to do it by ear.
But yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good, man.
I think this one will have I don't know who we're going to go to yet, but we're going to make sure it's somebody who is professional and does things in a timely manner.
So
like
not old JM.
Yeah.
We'll go with Jason Newsted this time.
I was thinking about giving him a call, honestly.
Last question.
It's going to be a humdinger.
What are your favorite tours and fests that you've played? Any memorable stories?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Probably a bunch of stories that we can't even
tour.
talk about on here or something. Horrible.
We some bad boys.
You can talk about it. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to listen anyway, so.
All right, thanks, guys.
There was this time in the
I
parking
feel like
lot.
every time we've played a fest, it's been like, oh, the fest is running behind. You guys need to start playing now. And everybody's in the other room or something and watching another band. And we're like, okay, we start playing. And then fucking.
Yeah, they always
it's
use
like
us as like the catch-up band.
one person like kind of starts walking over to us when we're on our last song. Like, sweet. And the one
Shit.
guy's like, I checked you guys out, you were pretty cool, and then he just walks away.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean,
Yeah, we haven't had very good luck on fests.
the Shadow Woods Metal Fest was pretty fun, though. That was like,
That one was good. Yeah.
I ended up getting a little too drunk before we played that one, but it was fun.
It'll get you.
No one will know except for those thousands and thousands of people that'll watch it on YouTube.
That is, yeah. Actually, yeah, that was, the first two songs are okay, and then it just kind of goes downhill after the first couple songs. And it's like the top video when you start with YouTube, which is like, kind of shit.
The best tour we ever did was probably in 2012 with Swashbuckle from Jersey, and they definitely like had that was our like earlier days, and they definitely had their tour stripes at this point. I remember our first show was in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and like they got their merch table all set up, and we all just kind of like sloshed our way towards them, and Pat Henry goes, "Are all 5 of you drunk?" This is like 5:30 p.m.
I remember that.
Yep.
That was a fun tour. Even the show.
That was a really great tour. We got to play. We played this place. We played this place that I guess Iggy Pop once took a shit on the stage, and the dude was telling us about it. Yeah, Iggy Pop once took a shit right here. Here's this nasty Quebec sense.
Tennessee.
Yeah, that place is cool.
That place is crazy. Johnny Cash played there.
God damn it.
I miss those pirates. They don't miss us, but we miss them.
I was standing close to where Iggy Pop took a shit. That's all I can say.
You know you made
Yeah,
it.
man. They should have like framed it or something. You know?
Well, they did. They put the masking tape X over it.
Oh yeah, they did have like a masking tape X over that.
I'm never washing this carpet.
Put it in like a baseball case. Like,
Oh God.
This carpet smell is where Iggy Pop took a shit. It belongs in a museum.
I wonder if there's still like shit particles there. You took like a microscope or something.
Didn't we shit on that stage too?
I was pretty drunk that night. It could happen.
Probably, yeah. That was the one show we ever played where we had like a green room.
Oh shit.
Yep.
That was kind of fun.
The soundstage show was pretty fucking. That was recent. That was like only a couple of years ago. Sam, you were on
Oh, yeah,
that
soundstage, yeah.
With the chasm.
with the chasm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the chasm, yeah.
That was fun. They had like a super cool like backstage area.
Yeah, I remember Trey and John got drunk off of the Chasm's beer and passed out while they were playing back there.
I remember that.
Yeah. And
That's
then they were
very shocking behavior for both of those guys.
they were taking pictures of them and making fun of them. Like, ah, look at this opening band, fucking drunk and passed out.
Shocked at them.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Swashbuckle
man.
tour was like super fun. I was like, I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that's a fun band.
Yeah, they were fun.
They don't talk to us anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
Not as on a regular basis, but yeah.
they don't seem very active, or like their personal pages. They don't seem very active anymore. Like I feel like Pat Henry used to post all the time, and he doesn't really post anything anymore.
He's got a girlfriend now and a house and things like that. Adult things. God bless him.
She was probably
Yeah.
like posting all that shit about people dying in hotel fires. Like you're gonna get like fired from your job or something.
My family reads your posts.
Go slip and slide headfirst into a wood chipper.
Oh shit! Yeah, didn't they do that like trucker theme band? Like they went from a pirate theme to a trucker theme.
No, that was their side bit.
Big Rig.
Big
Oh
Rig.
my god!
Lot Lizard and Lick Up.
Dude,
I got drunk and accidentally booked them for my birthday show at Riff House one year.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
Accidentally booked them.
You said accidentally.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Matt, why are you wearing a flannel shirt, not a vest? Where's your pirate, Matt? Oh, shit. Fuck me up. That was the night I threw up in your truck, Sam.
Yeah, I remember that.
It
Yeah.
was a bad night.
The
That was a
fucking.
bad night.
I remember.
I
It was
had
a
my
great
truck
night. It was a
for.
bad night.
I had my truck for a week. A week. And you threw up.
Chris, no?
You had
It's
to
a right.
pull
It's a
over.
right. It's a rite of passage.
You had me pull over. I pulled over so that you could puke
And then I still
outside the
puked in your
truck.
truck.
And then you puked on the fucking back seat.
Ain't I just a goof? Ain't I just
People
a
don't
kidder?
forget.
And he didn't leave a shirt at your house, though.
What was that?
He didn't leave a shirt at your house, though. He just
I
puked in
probably
his
did.
truck,
No,
but he didn't leave a shirt.
I think he used a shirt to clean it up.
I think I ate a cheesesteak at Riff House. So at that point, who wasn't gonna puke? Another cigarette. Yeah.
Let me take this
Sorry,
block
Jim.
of salt and put it in the in
Oh,
the
it's just a
pan.
razor blade. Ah. No, thumbtacks. Come on.
How long has this hot sauce been sitting on the bar? Fuck it.
Their food isn't that bad.
No, their food is amazing.
No.
They have pretty good food.
They
I just said it
significantly
because of this.
improved.
It's good. It's just
Come on, man.
Improved,
They fixed
like
it.
they cook it now.
They fixed that place up. Like when it was Rogers, it fucking sucked. And it was one of the most horrible bathrooms. I mean, it's never a good experience in a bathroom at a bar, but man, they really did fix that place up.
Mhm.
Yeah, now I'm trying to fucking save face.
Sure, Sam. They fixed the place up. Sure, whatever you say.
I feel like I had more of a chance of being murdered in there when they were still Rogers. When Kim and
I
Dave
remember-
bought it, I felt a little.
I'm gonna take a piss real quick.
I remember the first show that I went to Rogers for was Eat the Turnbuckle, and I saw a guy as soon as I walked in. I saw a guy with a fucking bone hanging out of his arm, and he's just like, oh, like, shit. I was like, dude. I was like looking at my buddy. I think it was Dylan that was with me. I was like, dude, this place fucking rules. This guy, I seriously saw his bone, and that's the first thing that I remember about Riff House. He was just like pacing around his bone, like, oh, look at this. Drunk as fuck.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna like it. Huh?
It's coming out of his skin?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah. His shit was
You gotta be
fucked.
pretty drunk to be like walking around shielding people. Like, I feel like if that happened to me, I'd fucking like pass out or some shit.
I think he might have been in shock because he had this like glazed look over his eyes, and he's just flopping his arm around, and people are like, "Dude, you need to go to the hospital like, right now." But yeah, eat the turnbuckle.
I guess that kind of shit happens at their shows. I remember
Yeah.
Saega played a show with the Schlack,
Yeah,
their band called Call the Paramedics.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just gonna bring that up.
And this is like at Nara Sushi in Richmond, and like it was a little sushi restaurant, and they had bands play. Did anybody ever play there?
Yeah.
Besides-
No.
I saw Magruder grind there. It was awesome.
Yeah. We played with Misery Index in the basement here one time. But But yeah, that dude just started like, we had like all of our amps and shit up there still, and like Schlack started slicing his face up and bleeding everywhere. And I just remember thinking like, please don't get fucking blood all over my shit. That's there. Like, please. And that dude fucking bled so much, man. It was crazy. I was like, these guys are fucking insane.
Dude,
That dude is crazy as shit.
I know.
I look at all his Facebook posts and like, he's fucking crazy.
He's like one of my favorite people on Facebook, dude. He's just like, that motherfucker's always bleeding from his face. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's his thing.
Yeah,
Just
he
his thing.
likes to fucking cut himself up with razor blades and shit.
Yeah.
I saw a call the paramedics at Gills and they lit the bar on fire.
Did they really?
What, did he eat one of the fucking rip out his cheesesteaks?
Rip out cheesesteaks? Yeah,
Yes.
fucking-
He said the bar on fire, not his butthole.
Does not compute.
Well, guys, I think it's about that time.
Yeah, Joe had to cut it off.
Yeah, we're boring.
No,
Before we drink some more
Thank
Lyle,
y'all so
talk
much.
shit about somebody.
I'm supposed to be at work right now, but I told him I was going to be late.
Well,
So I got to go.
we had some good times. We had
Yeah.
some laughs. We had some,
We
I
cried.
don't know.
I didn't
I cried a
cry. I
little.
don't cry.
We ran through the whole rainbow of human emotions.
There are a few parts
God
that I
bless.
wanted to cry. They were really sad.
Well, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. We got some cool stuff. If you're listening, definitely check out The Day of the Beast if you haven't. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment on the video. Let us know how we can improve or if you liked it or all that shit. And we'll see you guys next time.
Later, guys.
Thanks.
Cheers.
See y'all later.
Later, y'all.